Hi guys, welcome back to Garagetech. In this video I'm going to be changing these front pads on this Audi A1. It's a 1.4 TFSI, the 2015 model year. So it's really quite straightforward. I'm not replacing the rotors or the discs, I'm just replacing the pads. So first thing I need to do is release this metal spring clip here. Now to do that I just use a flat blade screwdriver like this and just get it underneath the spring there. Just lever it out. So what I'm doing is getting that out, that little pin there in that tiny little hole. So once that's out of there, do the top. So that's nice and easy. Be very careful with these. You don't want to bend them up too much, otherwise they won't go back properly. Once I've done that, what I tend to do then is release the caliper a bit, because we will need to push the piston back. So to do that, I'll just put a screwdriver inside there against the disc, and if the caliper's in good order, working properly, you'll see it'll start to slide. That then is pushing that piston back, so now straight away see the movement on there. It's just going to make it nice and easy to remove. At the back in here there's one bolt in here that I need to replace. There's the cap on the end, so just be careful you don't take your fingernail off when you're removing this. So it's better to use a screwdriver. So I've only got one hand, so I would use two, but so you can see that release. And then take that cap out. So there's one at the top and there's also one at the bottom. Yeah. And inside there is a 7mm hexagon socket. So just like that. Inside there. Make sure it's right all the way in, and then you can just loosen those. They shouldn't be too tight, just enough. So I'll just remove both of those. I've got to say guys, these cars are probably the easiest set of brakes to change. They are really so simple. Just removing that cap off the bottom one. Said you might need a screwdriver just to help you just get it out. And of course, what I tend to do when I'm doing these is just turn the wheel out. I've just left it like this so it's easier to film for you guys, but normally what I do is just turn the wheel out so you can see more of the actual brake setup. Once you get to the point, you should be able to pull these all the way out. What I tend to do is give these a little bit of a clean up with a bit of emery cloth or sandpaper, because ultimately that's what the disc, the caliper slides on these parts. So it's good to just give them a good clean up before you put them back. So I said I'll just clean that dirt off on there. So you pull the caliper off. You can see this one, this pad stays inside the piston, so we need to just press that out like that. That comes out, and then what I'm going to do is just inspect this rubber boot around here just to make sure there isn't any holes or cracks or anything in there, because if it was, then we'd have to either get the seal replaced or replace the caliper. So the other job that I need to do now is push this piston all the way back in. So to do that, I could continue what I was doing before with a screwdriver, or you can use some big grips like this to help press it back. Now there are piston wind back tools and stuff that you can also use, but if your caliper's good, this should be just enough to press it back. So once that's at the end like that, that's done. Now before I go ahead and put my pads in, I'm just going to put that out of the way. I'm just going to obviously take the other pad out and give it a nice clean up in the carrier here where the pad actually sits, like here and here, so it's just nice and clean. Now to do that, I can either use like a screwdriver like that just to scrape some of the stuff off, or you can use a wire brush, whatever you prefer. Also wouldn't use anything too abrasive like a file, because you don't want to actually take any metal material away, because that means then the pad will be slightly loose in the actual carrier. But a screwdriver like this, just to scrape off the build-up of dirt, and again a wire brush. It's a bit more difficult to get in one at the back. Cool. Once that's nice and clean, I'll get my new pads ready to go. I don't have any wear indicators on this particular car, but if you did have wear indicator sensor on your pads, you'll find it something like that. It's easy enough to release. You just put your thumb in there, press that down, release it out. So it'll probably be clamped up here somewhere, so you need to make sure you're clamping it in. So because I haven't got it on this one, I could just cut that off, which I'll do on the other side. As I said, these pads, one of them's got a metal clip on it, so that will clip into the piston. Like that. And then obviously the other pad, the new one, I will fit straight into the carrier. Now before I put these pads in, I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of grease on there and on there, so then it will fit in like that. So just need to grab my grease. You don't need a lot, just a really small amount. Some manufacturers don't actually recommend greasing anymore, so don't go over the top. Obviously some people will use like a copper slick, etc. This is the proper genuine Volkswagen Group stuff. Just a bit on the top there. That's it. Same on this one. There we go. Then I can just push that into place. That's it. So what I'm going to do next now is just quickly clean up these sliders. Just a bit of Emery cloth, just cleaning that bit there. Not sanding the whole thing right down, just enough to clean it up. So I do, and then I'll just put a little bit of grease on there as well. And sort that back in. The same on the other one. You always start these when you're winding them back up by hand. The last thing you want to do is cross thread this, because then that means you need a new carrier. So I never do them up with a air gun or air ratchet or some sort of electronic tool. Always start it off by hand. Can't screw it in by hand and something's not quite right. And tightening them up, they don't need to be mega tight. That's once you get to a nice firm resistance. Excuse me. So, put those caps back in now. So, next bit then is the spring clip. This might be probably the most trickiest bit, to be fair, out the whole job. So the way I do it is I get the clip in at the top hole at the top there first. Use a pair of pliers, just tap it in, and then what I do is get the pliers on the bottom like that and just lever it over, pushing it in the hole, and then just tap it in. Okay. That's it. So that's the brake pads changed. Next thing then is to obviously just pump the brakes up before we drive off anywhere. I can go and do the other side. Cool, that's it guys. Well, thanks for watching. As always, if you like these videos, hit the subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.